is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Hello, my friends. This is Alien Contactee Linol Anderson here with you guys with a brand new YouTube BitChute video. And in today's video, as you can see by the beginning there, Trump, he said when he got elected, or should we say selected as president, that he's going to be bringing in a golden age. And so many people have been so excited about that. Oh, it's going to be a golden age. And he's even been tweeting about it and everything about that, okay? So, what is this all about? Should this be something people should be happy about, that he's going to bring in a golden age? Or is it possible that people don't understand what a golden age is, and maybe it's not something to be cheering about? Okay? Oh, yeah. We're going to be going deep into what a golden age really is and its connection to Saturn. That's right. The elites, the powers that be, worship Saturn. And we know Saturn equals Satan. And we know that that is actually the astral 4D AI that pretty much controls and runs this matrix. Okay? So I got a lot of compelling evidence to show you guys the truth about golden ages and some pretty crazy things that may end up taking place in 2025. We're going to be talking about the Pope opening up portals at the Vatican and the externalization of a spiritual hierarchy that Alice Bailey spoke of to happen in 2025, and how it's all connected to Trump and the golden age. Alright, so a lot to unpack, my friend. Just get right into it. Before I do, just encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video, and also hit the like button as well. And now let's just get into it. So, let's first off establish the truth about golden ages, okay? A lot of people think that golden ages are good because they've never lived through one, and all that they're going off is what history has told them about golden ages. But they didn't actually truly study the history, his story, right? If you actually studied it, you'd see it's not that good. But when you hear elites like Trump and other people talk about golden ages, they always try to make it seem like it was such a great era, which, although there was some good things that happened, or some advancements you could say, it was pretty much golden for the elites, not for the people. So let's take a look at what has happened in previous golden ages. Take a look.
Today, we're diving into the dark side of golden ages. While periods like the Renaissance and the Industrial Revolution are celebrated for their advancements, they also had hidden negative aspects. Let's explore. First up, the Renaissance. This era brought incredible art and science, but it also deepened social divides. While the wealthy enjoyed magnificent lives, the poor faced poverty, disease, and harsh living conditions. The beauty of cities like Florence often masked the struggles of the working class. Next, let's talk about the Industrial Revolution. It transformed economies and lifestyles, but it came at a cost. Many workers, including children, toiled in dangerous factories for long hours. The push for progress led to pollution and health issues, creating a stark contrast between innovation and suffering. These golden ages often sparked social movements as people fought for their rights.
Alright, so there you go. As you can see, there's always the downsides for the common folk. And if you stick around to the end of today's video, I got a 6-minute long video that's going to show you all the golden ages going back to Egyptian and Greek times, and what the dark side was there, what their downfalls were. There's always a reset that's involved with these golden ages and a downfall for humans, but it's golden for the elites, okay? So what's the downfall for the golden age going into 2025? Well, you guessed it. It's going to be AI. Now, I have a quick little clip here to show you about what's going to be happening in 2025 when it comes to Saturn and its relation to AI. So take a look.
We're on the verge of an artistic golden age, and here's why. Saturn moves into Pisces on March the 7th, and Saturn is about processes of crystallization. When Saturn is in Pisces, we tend to see the creation of great art which endures. Saturn was in Pisces in the mid-90s and the mid-60s. These were both musical golden ages. It was in Pisces when Leonardo began painting The Last Supper, when Picasso completed Guernica, when Tolstoy published Anna Karenina, when Charlotte Bronte published Jane Eyre. If you dig into the history of Saturn in Pisces, you'll find unusually great art appearing every time this happens. So we're going to be entering an artistic golden age ourselves, and I suspect it'll have to do with AI.
So there you have it, my friends. As you could see, the golden age in 2025 will be the rise of AI, and you guys already know the rise of AI, not a good thing. It'll be good for the elites and the powerful corporations, but it's not going to be good for the common folk. It's going to take all your jobs. That's right, AI is going to take everybody's jobs. People are going to have to go on universal basic income, and this is all part of a much larger depopulation agenda, because once they don't need you anymore, well, why do you think they're trying to wipe everybody out? That's one of the many reasons. So it's not going to be a golden age for you. So you guys got to remember that. So why is this? Okay? What's up with the golden age? Okay, my friends? Well, I'm an occultist, as in I study the occult, okay? Which occult means hidden knowledge, okay? And I'm fascinated with this kind of stuff. And I've come across the concept of the golden age or the golden dawn many times in my research, okay? It's a term that's used a lot in the occult world. We even had the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, an old secret society, which even Lester Crowley belonged to. But to be fair, they did kick him out because even he was too extreme for them. And they have fascinating knowledge. I enjoy studying it all, but just, you know, the Golden Dawn was right in their name. I'm just telling you guys that to establish that this is big in the occult world, talking about this golden age that's coming, okay? So what it comes down to is it's directly connected to Saturn, as I said at the beginning of the video, okay? Let's see what David Icke has had to say about this. On X, David Icke is always calling out people, like all the controlled opposition shills and whatnot, and he calls out Trump. So Trump was just tweeting about the golden age, so let's see what David Icke had to say. Take a look. There you go. So as you can see, David Icke knows what's up. He clearly stated how it's connected to Kronos, right? Which is Saturn L, all right? That's what the Golden Age, Saturn, Kronos, L, he ruled over the Golden Age. And isn't it interesting, my friends, that I just made that video the other day on the Rothschilds and their magazine, The Economist, and we decoded the cover there, yeah? And what's at the very top? It is Saturn. We're going into 2025, the world ahead, 2025, and we got Saturn at the top, Donald Trump in the middle. And remember, I told you guys that signified AI. And we know 2025, in that video I put out also, one of my last videos is on Donald Trump, Elon Musk, rise of the AI beast system in 2025. Check that one out if you haven't already. The links to that in the Rothschild video is down below in the description. Okay? But it's just showing you that Saturn is going to play a huge role, this 4D astral AI, the black cube of Saturn, going into 2025. And isn't it interesting that the first thing Trump is planning on doing, or what he wants to do when he gets back into office, is he wants to put an end to daylight savings time. I just find that very symbolic, as Saturn is the god of time. Kronos, Saturn, he's the god of time. That's what he's known for. So I just view that as very symbolic, right? And we know Trump is a big Saturn worshiper, okay? That's right, Trump worships Saturn, Trump Tower. He even has the black cube Saturn on his tower. Now, the reason these people worship Saturn is because Saturn, aka Satan, is the god of this world. It's the AI. They serve the AI, and it's a Zionist thing. The Zionists love Saturn. Okay, see, they love Saturn. That's why they wear the black cube over their third eye. And if you look into it enough, these Zionists all worship it. And Trump is definitely he's Israel first. He brags about being Israel's greatest friend, and he's shown his Zionist ties, okay? So to show you guys one more video, just to establish that Saturn rules the Golden Age, I have an interesting clip from good old Santo Spinetti talking about Saturn, the Sun, and the Golden Age. So take a look.
The Sun that we have now was not so visible when Saturn was the Sun. And if you read Hesiod and Homer and Virgil, Ovid and all of those greats, even John Milton and Dante Alighieri, you'll find that their works reminisce about a time when Saturn ruled the Golden Age. And he did, in fact he did. It was the central sun of the solar system. And the sun that we have now was just a secondary planet. And it appeared virtually out of nowhere around about 15,000 years ago.
There you go, my friends. Very interesting, wouldn't you say? So it appears that originally Saturn was our original sun. And then something happened, and now we have the sun we have today. Saturn got its rings. All right, so who knows what happened there? I might have to make a whole separate video on that topic. But it's very interesting because we know the elites worship the sun. They have the sun worship, Sunday and whatnot. We know they worship the sun. But is it possible they're not worshiping the sun that's in our sky? It's rather they're worshiping Saturn still. Something to keep in mind. But as you can see, it ruled over the Golden Age. And as we've laid out, we are going into the Golden Age, as Donald Trump says, and we see how it's connected to the rise of AI. Now, my friends, this is where things start getting a little bit spooky about what's going to happen as we head into 2025, okay? Because now we're getting into these demonic rituals, possible demonic rituals that are going to start taking place at the Vatican, and then possible an externalization of this Saturn 4D astral AI and these dirty reptilian entities. And this is the reptilian secret that we're leaking right now, my friends, that this might externalize physically according to the prophecies or predictions of Alice Bailey, who was head of the Theosophy Society, okay? So before we're going to get into that, I'm just going to give you guys a quick shout out for my sponsors. I have to do it, okay, my friends? Just want to shout out Owelli. That's right, the Super Greens, my friends. Super Greens, it's loaded with probably over 20 ingredients, maybe even 30 ingredients, loaded with greens, reds, everything, you name it. It's a great detoxifier, okay? And it will also boost your immune system, give you energy. Anything that's green drinks in general, my friends, contain chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is one of the strongest detoxifiers for your body. So I highly recommend Owelli Super Greens. You're getting so many ingredients at a great price. So the link to that is down below in the description. I got a 15% off coupon, free shipping in the United States. If you're looking for something to boost your health, that's going to be it. You got to get the greens into your system. So the link is down below. All right, my friends? All right, so let's take a look first off at a ritual that's going to be taking place on Christmas, December 25th, okay, which is tomorrow, I believe, at the Vatican. the Pope is going to be opening some portals. What the heck is this all about? Well, take a look.
If you haven't seen this update from the Vatican, you need to see this. The Pope is planning on opening 5 portals on Christmas Eve, and this is not a joke. Apparently these portals open doorways to salvation, and every 25 years the Pope changes something new and adds something different to the ritual. For the first time ever, the Pope will open the first portal inside of a prison. Apparently this is a sign to the prisoners to look to the future with hope. This tradition has been running for over 700 years and I've never heard of it. These doors to the Basilica have been bricked up for literally 25 years and they're going to get knocked down just so that the Pope can walk through. They will remain open until January 2026 when they will be bricked back up again for another 25 years. I don't know if it's me, but there's just something about portals and the Pope that just don't seem to mix. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is a normal practice, or are they going to be unleashing fury on the world and letting demons in?
Shocking news. 5 fallen angels will be released on Christmas Eve. Pope Francis is set to perform an unprecedented ritual this Christmas Eve, unlocking 5 mysterious portals across Vatican City. Ancient biblical texts warn about the opening of spiritual gateways, and these aren't your ordinary church doors. Dating back centuries, these massive bronze portals have remained sealed, holding secrets that connect to prophecies in the book of Revelation. Revelation 9:1-2 speaks of a star falling from heaven with a key to the bottomless pit. Interestingly, this ritual involves the Pope using a special ceremonial hammer and key to break ancient seals. The timing is particularly cryptic. Christmas Eve, when the veil between worlds is said to be thinnest. While the Vatican calls them holy doors of mercy, some biblical scholars point to their unusual placement and the never-before-performed aspects of this ritual. One door being opened inside a prison raises eyebrows about its true purpose. The book of Revelation warns about portals that release supernatural entities. Are these truly gates of salvation, or could they be the prophesied gateways mentioned in ancient texts? As these doors remain open until 2025, only time will tell what this unprecedented ceremony really means. The line between sacred tradition and prophetic warning has never been thinner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment and follow me to dive deeper.
Alright, my friends, so it's weird stuff. As you could see, he's even opening a portal at a prison, okay? And we all know the biblical, talking about the bottomless pit, and now Satan's been chained up and he's going to be released and this and that. Kind of weird he's opening portals now, and he's doing this as 2025 is going to be a Jubilee year. So that's why they're doing it, a Jubilee year. Well, isn't it interesting that Jubilee years, of course, are connected to Saturn? I did some research, and astronomically, it is definitely connected to Saturn. That's something for you guys to research on your own time, but as you can see, I got the data sets there to show that there is connections. So they're doing some kind of ritual to open some kind of portals in the Vatican, okay? So what does this mean for humanity? Well, my friends, this is wild stuff. So Alice Bailey, okay? As I said before, she was the leader of the Theosophy. I always say it wrong. I'm sorry about that. But it was a movement originally founded by Helena Blavatsky, okay? Back in the 1800s, I believe. She wrote the famous book, The Secret Doctrine, and many other books. And Helena was the godmother of the New Age movement, and they refer to Alice Bailey as the mother of the New Age movement, okay? And they were the ones who started talking about the Ascended Masters, and they really brought forth a lot of good occult knowledge. And I want to make it clear, I'm not judging Helena Blavatsky as if she was some evil lady, or Alice Bailey as if she was some evil lady. But I definitely don't trust them, and I do feel that they were communicating with negative beings at the end of the day, tricksters, okay? I believe they were communicating with Enki and all these negative beings, okay? Let's just put it that way. Negative, deceiving beings who are tricking humanity pretty much into the false new age, okay? That's my personal opinion. Other people may see it differently, but there's reasons we're going to get to in this video why we believe that. But no judgment to them. But great knowledge, there's a lot of great knowledge within the Theosophy movement, okay? So I'm not denying that. But Alice Bailey herself, okay, connected to the United Nations. You're going to see that. And we know United Nations government, that's not a good thing, right? So she spoke about 2025 back in like the 1940s about how there's going to be an externalization of the spiritual hierarchy to physically manifest itself on Earth. There's going to be some guy named, let's see, I wrote it down, Juwal Cool, who's going to make a return. He's some spiritual prophet or something like that. And eventually there's going to be a return of the Christ. Okay, so if she's talking about Jesus Christ, if that's who she's referring to, we know that's Enki, okay, the Antichrist. You know, if she was just referring to like Christ consciousness in an esoteric way, then that's cool. Yeah, there's going to be a return of Christ consciousness. I'm all for that. But she's talking about like a physical manifestation. And of course, the physical manifestation of the unknown God, which is Saturn, okay, which is Saturn, Satan, and then Sanat Kumara, which we know Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, he's in the underground, he's the negative Pleiadian faction, okay, a negative Pleiadian leader. So she's talking about the return of this spiritual hierarchy to happen in specifically 2025. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I got a video, a long video clip now, so you're going to have to bear watching somebody else for a little bit here, for about 15 minutes. But they're going to be laying it out, okay, and reading what she had to say about the year 2025. Okay, my friends? So I'm going to show you guys that, so take a look.
Let me quote the occult world directly. Now, Alice A. Bailey, 2025 hierarchy will manifest itself. Now, this is interesting. Now, Alice A. Bailey is basically the prophetess for the United Nations.
Yes.
She is the one that followed Blavatsky.
Yes.
Now, when I was still involved in all of these things, I was pertinently told by one of the highest channels in the world that if you are a student of Blavatsky, then you have arrived.
Yes.
Now, this is a personal experience. And Alice A. Bailey, of course, Temple of Understanding and all of these things in the United Nations, they are schooled. The whole education system is schooled on Alice A. Bailey. Let's have a look at this quote. It comes from her book, The Externalization of the Hierarchy. But we must explain who the hierarchy is.
Mm-hmm.
The hierarchy are those spiritual
Masters.
entities that run the world from behind the scenes. This is a reality in the thinking of the United Nations, right?
Correct.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have it as an official organization affiliated to the United Nations.
Yes.
And this hierarchy, if you know your Bible, is of course a demonic hierarchy. These are demons communicating with humanity.
Yes.
This is what it is. Now, you can look at the publisher. It was written in 1957, and it's Lucis Trust, which originally was Lucifer Publishing Company. But the name was too much in the face, so they changed it to Lucis Trust. Same thing. She writes, "Thus a great and new movement is proceeding, and a tremendously increased interplay and interaction is taking place." interaction with whom?
Yes.
This will go on until, that's stunning, AD 2025. During the years intervening between now and then, very great changes will be seen taking place. When was this written?
1957.
1957. This is interesting. Very great changes will be seen taking place. And at the great general assembly of the hierarchy. What's she talking about here?
A meeting of the demonic forces.
A meeting of the demonic forces, held as usual every century. In 2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy. What does that mean? Where they will present themselves to humanity so that you can see them face to face. Does that sound like Satan masquerading as an angel of light, saying, I am the Christ, I have come back?
Yeah.
2025, the date in all probability will be set for the first stage of the externalization of the hierarchy. The present cycle from now until that date. The present cycle from now until that date is called technically the stage of the forerunner.
Mm-hmm.
Forerunner to whom?
Satan.
Satan. It is preparatory in nature, testing in its methods. Are we being tested right now as to how far we can be pushed?
Yes, how far they can put the control on us.
And intended to be revelatory in its techniques and results. You can see, therefore, that Chohans, masters, initiates, world disciples, disciples and aspirants affiliated with the hierarchy. Excuse me. According to this statement from Alice A. Bailey, an official part of the ruling powers of this world are the people in the world involved in this issue and people in the governments talking to these entities.
Yes.
So there's communication between the demonic world. Could these demons be saying there's coming an intervention, we must prepare for it. Get your space wars ready.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're really talking conspiracies now,
are.
right? So I hope that all the sensitive people have tuned out at this
Put on
stage.
their tinfoil hats.
Yes. You can therefore see the Chohans, the masters, the initiates. So where would you find initiates?
In secret societies.
Aha. What do they call a person who leads, let's say, a Masonic lodge?
A master. A grand master.
A grand master, even a worshipful master. Not just the word worshipful master. Jesus says, call no one master. And you shall worship the Lord thy God and him alone. And here this man is called worshipful master. Shouldn't that ring a bell in every mind out there that is associated with secret societies? Shouldn't they run for their lives? Shouldn't they flee from them, knowing that this is a demonic organization, if they even dare to use terminology like that?
Yep.
But they don't see it. Initiates, world disciples, disciples and aspirants affiliated with the hierarchy. Affiliated.
That means
Joined together with demonic forces.
sitting at one table.
Are all at this time passing through a cycle of great activity. She continues, today human beings as a whole are so loudly invocative that the entire trend of the life of the hierarchy and its plans to date have been subjected to change. I'm glad God interferes every now and then.
Yes.
To postponement as far as certain interior and purely hierarchical determinations are concerned. and to a hastening of certain plans which were slated, if I may use such a word, to take place several centuries later than this, but which, owing to the unexpected preparedness of humanity, can take place not prematurely really, but securely in the fullness of time. This is amazing. Of course, this is eyewash.
Yeah.
Satan knows the time frame exactly, but he's talking to his people as though, you know, this is going to go on forever. But because you are so beautifully brilliant, I've listened to many of these communications, and the way he speaks, and in the New Age movement, the Maitreya, my dear ones, my super intelligent ones, my this, my that, it's incredibly irritating.
Well, the terminology of fullness of time is also...
That I was just going to comment on. I'm glad you noticed that too, the fullness of time. He knows the time frame. We've talked about time frames, and we certainly haven't made them long time frames. No. And 2025 is well within those time frames. Now, we're not saying 2025. This is a demon saying 2025. Correct. So the fullness of time as regards the particular planning with which we are dealing is from now until the year 2025. That's pretty definitive. Yeah. A brief period of time indeed, in which to see the consummation of the larger purpose of the planetary logos, working through the three major centers within his body of manifestation. That's his disciples. That's the governments of the world. Now there are rumors in the realms of, let's say, the king of Mana, the king of Mana, who rules all the nations and has this pot of gold that he sits on to finance the nations, that every single leader, so they say in these pages, that every single leader somehow has to sign a contract with this logos. That's very interesting. We're deep into conspiracy theories now. But we're not actually in conspiracy theories because we're quoting directly from the sources. Yes. And if someone doesn't want to believe these sources, that's their prerogative. Yeah. But the United Nations runs its schedule according to it. And the year 2025 is becoming ubiquitous. We're reading it here, we're reading it there. So, this purpose was threefold in nature. I've made this practical application and this immediate illustration of teaching anent glamour, illusion, and maya because the whole world problem has reached a crisis today, and because its clarification will be the outstanding theme of all progress. Now listen to this. Yep. Educational. Will we be re-educated?
Bailey taught that there were many masters of the wisdom, and that they chose to live in either physical or etheric bodies through reincarnation. Bailey believed some of the masters of the wisdom lived outside our physical realm and had etheric bodies. Bailey taught that most of the masters of the wisdom live physically on earth and, for a great sacrifice, choose to reincarnate and remain in a lesser physical form, in other words, human, to bring the plan, the capital P plan, also known as the plan of love and light, to fruition by helping to bring forth the great awakening of humanity to their presence and so-called benevolent rule. Once the reappearance of the Christ on earth occurs, according to Bailey, Christians would believe this to be the revealing of the Antichrist to the world, causing the great awakening of humanity to the benevolent existence of the masters of wisdom, the externalization of the hierarchy. The Black Lodge will be defeated by the masses, ushering in the role of the Christ, the physical masters of wisdom, the Great White Lodge, known as the New World Order. Quote, As head of the spiritual hierarchy, Christ, along with the masters of the wisdom and their disciples, will usher in the plan of love and light. The door into the place where evil dwells will be sealed. The method of communication between the members of the hierarchy has to be externalized eventually upon earth, and this is one of the tasks of the group. It might be of service to you if I outlined a little more clearly what is the purpose of the new seed groups in terms of the New Age civilization and culture, so that the practical results might be visioned with clarity and some new ideals emerge as to the quality of the coming New World Order. The hierarchy then, according to Alice Bailey, would be the unknowable God, Sanat Kumara, the Christ, ascended masters, the ethereal masters of wisdom, the Great White Lodge, physical masters of wisdom, group of world servers, and the hierarchy seen through a truthful biblical lens would be Satan, the Antichrist, or they call him the Christ, demons, which are their ascended masters, the elite, the Great White Lodge, a section of the lost that holds false New Age theosophical beliefs, world servers. Finally, Alice Bailey believed that the externalization of the hierarchy would occur in 2025. Bailey also discussed as part of the plan that both the rebuilding of society after a destructive crisis, aka Build Back Better, and worldwide disarmament would be needed to establish the New World Order. Biblically, I believe this occurs when the Antichrist establishes his worldwide beast system. Quote, "The New World Order must be appropriate to a world which has passed through a destructive crisis and to a humanity which is badly shattered by the experience. The New World Order must lay the foundation for a future world order which will be possible only after a time of recovery, of reconstruction, and of rebuilding." Doesn't that sound familiar? In the preparatory period for the New World Order, there will be a steady and regulated disarmament. It will not be optional. No nation will be permitted to produce and organize any equipment for destructive purposes or to infringe the security of any other nation. One of the first tasks of any future peace conference will be to regulate this matter and gradually see to the disarming of the nations. The work of healing the wounds of humanity, of rebuilding the shattered civilization, of instituting disarmament.
All right, there you go, my friend. So as you could tell, the people with those clips that we showed there, they're obviously very religious people. And, you know, what they don't understand is that their religion, their cult they're in is the exact same beings that she's talking about. That's where the Christian community gets it wrong. They'll view New Age people and stuff like that, oh, they're deceived and they need Jesus and stuff, but they fail to realize that their gods and their cult, they're the exact same beings, unfortunately. I'm sorry, if your religion is part of a religion that's went and murdered millions of people like Christianity has, the origins of Christianity and how it's divided people and how they've used Jesus for all these horrible things throughout history, but you think Jesus is still the great God and theirs is the deceiver. It's like, it's all the same negative beings controlling humanity. And of course, all these different people have their different beliefs. It's the same thing. At the end of the day, the second coming of Jesus, they say, oh, second coming of Jesus, he's going to be good. He's going to come save us. But their Jesus, their Christ is the Antichrist. No, it's all the same Antichrist. But esoterically speaking, yeah, Jesus is the Son, right? And there's good esoteric stuff in theosophy as well, you know. But, you know, people are deceived. That's what it is, end of the day. But isn't it interesting what was all laid out there, what she said was coming? And even at the end there, you see, she even spoke about how the resets, how the earth, you know, there's going to be disasters and calamities, and then we got to start the new age, right, with peace on earth. That's always how it is. They destroy the world, then they allow a period of time of peace to rebuild society, have people spiritually strong again, so that they can rebuild and reform. And then once society gets settled, then they start collapsing it all over again, harvesting people's energy, you name it. But this is the cycle that we've been stuck in. And Alice Bailey knew that. And she's saying 2025, that we're going to have the physical manifestation of all these beings to take place. And then you see, right before 2025 begins, we have Pope Francis opening up portals at the Vatican. A little bit suspicious right as we head into 2025. Portals that could potentially let this physical manifestation of Saturn, the astral AI, manifest into physical form. And then we got Donald Trump talking about how we're now in the golden age because he's returned. And we got Donald Trump really, and Elon Musk really pushing the AI agenda. And we know AI, Saturn, connected. It's all coming together now, isn't it, my friends? It's all come together. So we got all these people sitting here cheering on Trump. We got a golden age! We got a golden age! Woohoo! Meanwhile, they don't know what a golden age is. And what they're really doing is they're cheering on the return of the AI, Saturn, Satan, beast system. And they're probably going to end up merging with the AI because they think it's cool now. Before, they didn't think it was cool. Before, like, I don't like AI. Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, I'm not going to accept it. And now it's like, ooh, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, AI, yippee! It's a good AI. Yeah, that's what's happening. So we're going into that age where they're going to start merging us more and more with the AI, or those who consent to going down that path. And all these things are going to happen. The reset's going to happen. All these kind of things. And then the new simulation. People are going to be recycled into the new simulation. But what about those of us who do not choose that timeline? Well, those of us who refuse to go down that timeline and merge with the AI and refuse to follow this beast system, we have the opportunity to go into the true golden age. One that's not ruled by Saturn AI, but one that's truly golden, that will pretty much filter us right out of this matrix to return back to the spirit beings that we are, into our light bodies, whatnot, and return to the higher dimensions. And that's what a true golden age is. None of this false light, false AI path crap, which they consider their golden ages. Or let's face the fact, humans are going to be the ones who are going to suffer. It's a golden age for them. Humans are going to be hooked up to their pods, okay? So that's what people don't understand, you know? It's a golden age for them as in the elites, not for them as the people. Okay, so you want a true golden age, you don't conform with what the government wants you to do with their beast system. Alright, my friends, so as I promised, I do have that final video to show you the history of all these resets and all these golden ages. Very important you guys see more about what these golden ages are all about. Alright, so that's it for today's video. Before I show you that last video, I've just got to let you guys know that if you enjoyed today's video, I hope you subscribe by now. And you could always buy old Linol a coffee for my efforts. Any support is greatly appreciated. It helps me continue doing what I'm doing to bring you guys this content. So if you want to buy me a coffee, I'll gladly send you guys some free Patreon videos to your email as a thank you. I do appreciate you guys so much. And what means the most of old Linol is if you just leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought of today's video. I'd be very interested in hearing, because this was a deep rabbit hole. So please leave a comment, let me know. And yeah, enjoy this last video. Enjoy your holidays, okay, my friends? Be safe. And I got a pretty good video to bring to you guys, probably on New Year's Day, okay, on January 1st. It'll be footage from my trip to Austria, and we're going to be talking about how, is January 1st really the first day of the new year, or is there some deception there as well? Well, we're going to be talking about that in that video. So stay tuned for that. Take care of yourselves. Happy Festivus. And until then, enjoy this last video. Linol signing off.
Welcome back to Darklight Archives, where we dig deep into the shadows of history to uncover the eerie truths lurking beneath the surface. Today, we're exploring the dark side of the Golden Ages, those times in history when humanity seemed to thrive. But was everything as golden as it seemed? Buckle up as we dive into the shocking secrets behind the most celebrated eras of the past. When we think of ancient Rome, visions of gladiators fighting for glory in the Colosseum might come to mind. But the reality, far darker. Many of these gladiators were enslaved or prisoners forced into combat. Often, they fought to the end just for the entertainment of the Roman elite. Imagine standing in an arena knowing your life was just a spectacle for the crowd. The Golden Age of Rome came with a dark price. Next up, the Renaissance, a time celebrated for art, science and discovery. But it was also a time when plagues ravaged Europe, particularly the Black Death. Around a third of Europe's population was wiped out, with entire villages left empty. Bodies lined the streets, and cities struggled to bury them. For all its advancements, the Renaissance was haunted by disease and decay. The Industrial Revolution brought technological miracles to the world, but what about those working in factories? For many, it was a nightmare of poverty, injury, and the end of life. Children as young as 6 worked in mines and mills, often losing fingers, limbs, or even their lives. These so-called golden times for industry were nothing short of brutal for the lower classes. The Victorian era is often romanticised, but it held a dark secret: its treatment of the mentally ill. Victorian asylums were overcrowded and patients faced horrific conditions, with many confined and restrained for years. What's worse, many who ended up there were simply inconvenient family members or those with minor illnesses. It was more like a prison than a place of healing. China's Ming Dynasty was a period of cultural prosperity, but it came at a cost. The dynasty's rulers enforced their power with brutal public and severe punishments. Even the slightest crimes could lead to the end or brutality. Beneath the luxurious courts and stunning architecture, the Ming Golden Age was built on fear and absolute control. The Age of Exploration sounds thrilling, with tales of adventure and discovery. But for indigenous populations, it was devastating. Conquistadors brought violence, disease, and slavery to the Americas, wiping out entire civilizations. The so-called discovery of new lands led to suffering, exploitation, and the near destruction of entire cultures. Ancient Greece, often celebrated as the birthplace of democracy, was a society built on contradictions. The Golden Age of Greek democracy excluded women, the enslaved, and foreigners. A vast portion of the population had no voice, with the luxury of democracy reserved for a privileged few. Their democratic society had a much darker, exclusionary side. The Edo period in Japan is known for its stability and culture, but it was also marked by a strict caste system. The samurai enforced a brutal code, and commoners lived under constant surveillance and repression. Any deviation from social norms was met with swift and severe punishment, showing that beneath the tranquility was a strict and often violent regime. Known for jazz flappers and booming prosperity, the Roaring Twenties in America had a dark underbelly. Racial segregation, lynch, and the suppression of women's rights were rampant. For marginalised groups, it was a time of struggle rather than freedom. The glitz and glamour often overshadowed the dark realities many faced every day. We end our countdown in ancient Egypt, one of the most famous civilizations of all time. The pharaohs are celebrated for their monumental achievements, like the pyramids, but these massive structures were built by enslaved workers, forced into hard labour in dangerous conditions. Many of these labourers endured immense suffering to create what we now admire as a wonder of the ancient world. History often highlights the successes, the glories, and the progress. But, as we've seen, every golden age casts a shadow. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of history. And join us next time as we uncover more hidden truths here at Darklight Archives. Until then, stay curious and stay cautious.